Hi, my name is Animba Tochukwu Stella from the Department of Geology and Mining, Faculty of Applied Natural Sciences, in ENUGU State University of Science and Technology here in Nigeria, and I'll be making a presentation on the topic comparison of in vivo bioavailability studies of ENUGBA ABAKALIKI Mine District to define the health implications of the available heavy metals. Here is my outline running from introduction down to conclusion and of course recommendation. Introduction. Lead zinc mining site in ENUGBA area, which is geologically located within the lower Benue Rift in southeastern Nigeria and politically in Ebonyi State of Nigeria, is the targeted site for this review study. According to Obiora and Umeji in 2004, lead zinc ores occur in veins within slightly metamorphosed Albian sedimentary rocks, which are mainly black slates. The ore minerals exploited were mainly galena, sphalerite, chalcopyrite to some extent, and bornite, azurite, smithsonite, and cerussite. The gangs associated with the main ores include siderite, calcite, pyrite, marcasite, and quartz. Waste minerals derived from mining activities were dumped into the nearby farmlands, while natural surface drainage such as streams and rivers occur in the vicinity. Lead zinc ore mine areas of Abakaliki district have been implicated in various disease conditions. This post-Albian mineralization and igneous activities in southern Benue Trough has led to the deposition and subsequent illegal mining activities within the study area, which in turn has played a major role in the introduction of heavy metals into soil and water in the study area. The geology and location of the study area. The study area lies within the southern Benue Trough with sedimentary succession of pre-Santonian periods that span from Albian and Turonian age. The Asu River group of the Albian age is represented with two formations, which are the Abakaliki and Ebonyi formations that underlie it. According to Hawk, he stated that the lithophases of Asu River group consists of alternating shales and siltstones with occurrences of fine-grained micaceous and feldspatic sandstones, mudstones, and limestones. They have reports of intrusions of magmatic rocks ranging from basic intermediate igneous rock within the Ishiagu area. According to Olade, he further reported that the presence of pyroclastic intrusions within the Abakaliki area also existed. The Ezaku group is Turonian age and it unconformably overlies the Asu River group. The rocks are extensively fractured, folded, and faulted. The lead zinc ore is found in the Albian carbonaceous shale of the Asu River group. The mineralization is structurally controlled and localized in fissures, fault zones, and gently dipping veins. In the mineralization deformation, that the lodes were developed at the end of Santonian folding. That's the location, the map of Nigeria displaying the general geology. Then the map of Benue Trough showing locations of ore mineralization. Then here I have the location map of the study area. The study area lies within the rainforest region of southeastern Nigeria with humid climate and evergreen vegetation. The average monthly and annual rainfall ranges from 3.1 mm in January to 270 mm in July and 1,750 to 2,250 mm respectively. The study area comprises of vegetation with dense trees and underground creepers. The trees are mostly tall, in some locations with buttress roots around river bodies, while the vegetation is influenced by various factors including drainage, geology, topography, and rainfall. This work encompasses a general and holistic review of different works from different authors to evaluate the effects of heavy metals in water and soil within and around ENUGU mine district, with emphasis on its effects on man, plants, and aquatic organisms. This is an active mine site in ENUGBA area. From reviewed literature, it was observed that the major source of heavy metals in soil and water can be attributed to anthropogenic activities such as mining and quarrying. Geogenic activities are also implicated by some scholars. Detailed analysis showed that 62% of heavy metals in water and soil is attributed to mining, while 23% is attributed to indiscriminate waste disposal, and of course 15% is due of other human and geogenic activities. Heavy metals occurrence in the soil. The presence of mining activities, indiscriminate waste disposal, has actually led to occurrence of heavy metals in soil and water. Reports reveal that heavy metal in soil around Ameri, ENUGBA, and Ishiagu mine sites showed the presence of heavy metals such as manganese, lead, zinc, nickel, and silver in the soil, which has led to soil contamination in that area. They were of the opinion that heavy metals in soil is as a result of both geology and anthropogenic activities. OBRSC and others assessed heavy metals in soil around the ENUGBA mining district using 49 soil samples. From their findings, it was observed that heavy metals such as lead, zinc, cadmium, copper, and chromium was found in soil with their concentrations above statutory limits. A similar study was conducted by NABO PN on evaluating heavy metal contamination in soil within the vicinity of ENUGBA lead zinc mine using metal enrichment index and PLI, that's the pollution load index. Findings showed a trend of arsenic greater than cadmium, greater than cobalt, greater than manganese, greater than copper, greater than nickel, greater than lead, and of course lead greater than zinc in the soils. He concluded that the presence of the heavy metal is linked to human and geological activities. Also, we look at the bioavailability of heavy metals in plants. Plant source of nutrients is, of course, from the sun and soil. In most situations, plants are selective in the uptake of nutrients from the soil, but in some situations, they absorb non-essential or toxic elements. According to INVIVO and others, they reported that heavy metal intake in plants is a highly complex process, and it involves metal transfer from soil sap to the cells of roots. Several scholars have showed the process of contaminant uptake by plants and its mechanism. Heavy metals such as cobalt, cadmium, arsenic, silver, and transition elements like aluminium have greatly affected the growth of plants when they are above the threshold value, that's the required value that the plant can hold. Heavy metals pathways into the human system. How do these heavy metals get into the human system, which is my concentration of this work? These heavy metals can actually get into our system or into the human system through inhalation, that is through the nose, or through the mouth, that's the ingestion, or dermal absorption, that is direct contact with the skin. Bioavailable heavy metals concentration in the inhabitants of ENUGU. This work was actually split into two. The inhabitants of ENUGU, the review was split into two, that's the occupationally exposed and the environmentally exposed, and the frequencies of the priority heavy metals in occupationally exposed subjects were above their recommended limits and also significantly higher when compared with environmentally exposed and the control subjects. What are the effects of these heavy metals in human organs? The accumulation of heavy metals in human can result to several kinds of diseases such as kidney damage, liver disease, nervous disorder, hypertension, and many others. Several scholars were of the opinion that heavy metals such as lead can be seen in computer monitor glass, printed wiring boards, disposals of cathode ray tubes. According to Jarope, he reported that short-term exposure of lead can result in diarrhea, vomiting, coma, and convulsion. Lead in infants can affect their nervous systems. Some other symptoms associated with lead intake in human are abdominal pains, constipation, appetite loss, irritability, fatigue, sleeplessness, and headache. This table actually summarizes the effects of heavy metals in humans, plants, and aquatic organisms. Some remediation techniques. In remedying heavy metals in soils and water, there are some techniques which include isolation, immobilization, toxicity or mobilization reduction, physical separation, and extraction. But basically, what my review is focusing on is phytoremediation, which is under the toxicity and mobility reduction. In phytoremediation techniques, plants are being used, and there are some very effective plants which serve the purpose of phytoremediation for heavy metals. Some of these plants include the sunflower. The sunflower have longer and hairy root system compared with aquatic plants. They also show good capacities to accumulate heavy metals in them. That's the sunflowers. I also have the Brassica johnson. They can be used for rhizofiltration. We also have the Teres vittata. The Teres vittata actually acts as a hyperaccumulator plant. a hyperaccumulator plant. It accumulates heavy metals like copper, nickel, zinc, cadmium, and arsenic. Then the poplar plant actually undergoes a biological hydraulic containment, which occurs when plants like poplars draw up water upwards through the soil into the roots and through the plant. That's the work of the poplar plant. And the salix also acts as phyto extraction. And again, we have the water lettuce. The water lettuce was actually widely recognized for its hyperaccumulative capability. Then in conclusion, immobilization, soil washing, and phytoremediation techniques are frequently listed among the best demonstrated available technologies for remediation of heavy metal contaminated sites. In spite of their cost effectiveness and environment friendliness, field applications of these technologies have only been reported in developed countries. In most developing countries, these are yet to become commercially available technologies, possibly due to the inadequate awareness of their inherent advantages and principles of operation. With greater awareness by the government and the public of the implications of contaminated soils on human health, there has been increasing interest among the scientific community in the development of technologies to remediate contaminated sites in developing countries with great population density and scarce funds available for environmental restoration. My country, Nigeria, as a typical example, low-cost and ecologically sustainable remedial options are required to restore contaminated lands so as to reduce the associated risks, make the land resource available for agricultural production, enhance food security, and scale down land tenure problems. Proper disposal mechanisms for the products of both artisanal and formal mining activities should be enacted by government of the day and possibly plan effective phytoremediation of the mining area. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.